Before the printing press, creating manuscripts or books was an expensive and time-consuming process that could only be performed by a skilled scribe. In the early 1400s, there was only one book for every 2,000 people in Europe. They were rather rare and expensive items. Here at the University of Leicester, we've had the opportunity to view the Brute Chronicle. This collection of manuscripts documents the history of England, and given the number of copies made, could have been the most likely book that people would have encountered behind the Bible in the 1400s. Like the internet in the modern age, the creation of the printing press and metal type in the mid 1400s increased the speed at which information could be exchanged, and people certainly wanted to learn. By the early 1500s, documents were being printed in 18 different languages, and there was now one book for every 7 people in Europe. Printers from Europe were encouraged to bring their trade to London, with the National Book Market taking place at St Paul's Churchyard. Over the years, hundreds of printing presses were eventually set up in the square mile between St Paul's, Holborn, the Strand, and the River Thames. Given that a single page of an average Victorian broadsheet newspaper could require 90,000 individual pieces of metal type and take 10 hours to organise, sometimes the compositors got frustrated and tipped their type into the Thames rather than organising them again. I'm in Derby now at the Smallprint Company, which is the workshop of Chris Barker here. And we've been looking at some of these letters.
Little letters like this,
Yeah,
which
well,
have been
it's so
found.
tiny, I can hardly see that.
I know. This is one of the larger finds.
Yeah,
Some of the smaller letters are in there as well. So
gosh,
I think we're going to see what we can do with those. And
that's great.
they are visible now
Yeah.
after
Mhm,
decades and decades
mhm.
of being in the mud.
Great, I can't wait to see what you do.
Yes. Now we're just going to put this tiny, tiny little manicule into the form. I've just measured it, and it is 6 points in height. I think it's one of the smallest manicules I've ever come across. In a magnifying glass, incredible amount of detail. So I'm hoping that when we print it, we're going to get to see all that. We're using these two devices here called coins, which can hold everything in place. I'm going to lift it up to like that. And there we go, all locked up. So we're going to take it over to the Adana printing press, and we're going to see what results we get from this gorgeous type. We're going to take this through. This is an Adana 8.5. They've been manufactured since the 1920s. Remarkable machines, which I suppose we could refer to as the first desktop printer. Okay, and in goes the chase. There we need a bit of paper, and we'll see what comes out of that. Right, well, there we go. I'm quite amazed at how well some of these letters have come out. By and large, I think you could say that that was quite a successful print, really. You can just see that tiny manicule there, 6 point, probably the smallest manicule I've ever come across. So kudos for finding that in the Thames. It really does keep me interested. There's so many different avenues that you can sort of explore with it, from the actual technology itself, the process of printing, the individual type styles, which are absolutely fascinating, how they've developed over the years. It is a craft. It's classed now as a heritage craft. And I think in this day and age of the World Wide Web and this connectivity that we've got through that, this rolling 24-hour news environment that we're in, there's something refreshing about taking time to do something that requires more effort to get the final result, requires that time and that expertise to create something wonderful. And I feel privileged that I can take these letters out and the printing presses out to the public. I find it such a great talking point with people to get them involved, to get them to have a go. Um, from young to old, you get the same look of enthusiasm and excitement when they actually press a handle on the press and get a result. So yeah, there's that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm completely transfixed by it.